Paul Opitz here, bringing you a quick peek at United's latest innovation, the BearTracker 885 Hybrid CB digital scanner. Well, let's go take a look at it now. First off, right out of the box, most of this is going to look very familiar to you. It's going to look a lot like the Bearcat 880, which is our most popular CB. We have a mounting bracket, our mounting hardware, power cord, microphone, hanger clip, and of course the unit itself. These are all identical to the Bearcat 880. If you're familiar with mounting an 880 or a PC78 series CB in a vehicle, there is virtually no difference on this side. But let's move over here and take a look at some of the extra pieces we've got. As I mentioned, this is both a CB radio and a digital scanner. So to support the scanner side, we've included an antenna. Now this is a suction cup antenna. It allows you to stick this onto a windshield. There are also antenna accessories if this doesn't make a clean enough install. There are alternatives to using this, but this works just fine. And I've used it at a number of trade shows. I've never had to resort to another antenna. Remember, this is the scanner portion of this is really designed just to look for local signals. So you're not trying to pull in a really weak signal. You're always using a set of channels that are nearby and should be easy to receive. So even a wire antenna connected to the windshield is going to work just fine. The second piece that's new is a GPS receiver. Now what the GPS receiver does is it connects to the back of the CB using regular standard telephone cable, which is included. This needs a view of the sky, but other than that, it feeds the location to the 885, which tells the BearTracker 885 what channels to tune to. So you don't have to program it. I'll get into operation a little bit in a minute, but just wanted to give you a quick look at all of the pieces that come with it. Now let me flip this around so you can see on the back. This is your standard CB connector for your CB antenna, standard power for your standard power, and then the two additional jacks, one for the scanner antenna. This is a BNC connection that this antenna connects to, and the other is a RG14 connector. It's a standard telephone connector, which is what the GPS accessory plugs into. And turn it back around, and there's one other piece. It has an SD card. If I pop this out, this contains all of the scanner information. And we made it so that you can pop it out because we refresh that information every week. An end user doesn't need to refresh their card every week, but we make sure that the latest data is always available to them at any time. I'll show you a little bit more about how it operates. I'll also show you how to update that database on the card in the next little session. Okay, I've connected power and I've connected the microphone and the scanner antenna. I didn't hook up a CB antenna. I think we all know what CB radios sound like. So let's power it on and see what we got. So again, the display looks quite a bit like the Bearcat 880 display, but you see a couple of extra things here at the bottom. You see police, fire, ambulance, DOT. Right now it says no pause, no position. I didn't connect the GPS because I'm inside of a building, and inside of a building I'm never going to get a signal. But I anticipated that. So what we can do, first thing I want to do is go ahead and put in a position, which we can do by entering a zip code. So if I hit function, zip, then I'm going to put in our local zip code, which is 75063. And you're going to see it say load. It'll flash load for a few seconds. And then it'll start scanning police, fire, ambulance, and DOT. Now, this has the entire USA and Canada database of all known police, fire, and ambulance dispatch channels, as well as all known public works channels, which out on the highway, that's going to be your road crews and your DOT. One thing it's important to do if you're going to demonstrate this to somebody like I'm doing now is make sure that the squelch is turned up so that the CB level is squelched. I'm not sure if you could quite see it, but when it was turned down, there's RX in the display. Make sure that's turned up, because if there's any CB audio coming through, it's going to blank the scanner. So there is a way, there is a setting that lets you change that behavior, but for quick and dirty, I'm just going to leave it where it is and turn the squelch up. Turn the volume up, and we should start hearing some things, but while we're waiting for that, the main buttons for controlling the operation of the scanner side are police fire, which lets you turn on and off police, fire, turn on both, or turn off both. And then ambulance/DOT, which again lets you select ambulance or DOT or both or neither. I'll have it all turned on. The other feature which I haven't talked about that's really cool, especially for the truck driver, is the BearTracker warning system. Now the BearTracker warning system is a legal alternative. Oh, here's a little bit of fire call, caught the tail end of something. BearTracker warning system is a legal alternative to radar detectors. What it does is it looks for the low power signals coming from public safety vehicles. It's only going to be able to detect those signals from a couple of miles away. So if you're cruising down the highway and you get an alert on the BearTracker warning system, you know that there's public safety activity somewhere in the area. Watch your speed, watch your lane changes, put your phone down, just drive.
Truck 43 from this road.
Now what we're hearing is police, fire, and ambulance dispatch calls on the dispatch channel near our Irving, Texas office, because I put in our office zip code. As you're driving down the road, the GPS continuously feeds your location to the scanner, and it will continuously change what channels are scanned based on exactly where you are. Now occasionally you may hit a noisy channel or something where somebody's just chattering too much. You want to make them, you don't want to hear them again. So when that happens, and we'll get another signal here in a minute, it's a pretty busy area here. You hit function, avoid. Now that channel's avoided. You won't hear anything from that channel again until you cycle power. By then you've probably driven out of the area. If you hear something interesting, you can press hold, which was that second button up. And I was just a little bit late on the uptake there. Hold will.
50, E23 is going to be church.
Okay, so you see hold is in the display. We're holding on that channel. You see it's police. It's going to display police, fire, or EMS for ambulance, DOT for the public works channels. There's a 6-letter display, so not a lot of room for any more information than that. So let me tell it to scan again. I'm going to turn on BearTracker warning system. It's not real likely that we'll get an alert, but there are, it makes a pretty loud noise, similar to a radar detector, and you can adjust the volume of that noise. I'm going to go into the menu real quick. Do that by pressing. So just like the Bearcat 880, you can change the display colors. So there's your day color, day contrast, day brightness, night color, night contrast, night brightness, weather scan. Now what this will do is if you're in the weather priority mode, it will automatically rescan when it loses the current weather because you're moving. And as you drive, you'll drive in and out of different weather channel areas. So with weather scan on, when it loses the weather channel signal, it will scan until it finds a nice strong signal for you for weather scan. This is your BearTracker warning system alert level. So right now it's at 3. Audio priority, I mentioned this a moment ago. So right now it's CB priority. So if a CB signal comes in, and I can simulate that by turning down squelch, you heard our police went away. So I'll turn the squelch back up. You can set this to scan priority, which works just the opposite. If a scanner call comes in, it'll blank the CB. Or if you set it here, it has no priority. If you get a CB call and scanner is talking at the same time, you will hear both. And that's actually my preference. the audio on CB is distinct enough that even if there are two calls going on at the same time, you can listen to either one just by paying attention to which audio you want to hear. Kind of like listening to somebody at a party when a bunch of people are talking, but you can still hear them. Tone turns the key tone on and off. A lot of guys do not like, having the tone. If I turn that off, now you saw that it's not beeping now when I. So I'm going to turn it back on, tone on. And that's just a quick rundown of the menus, the scanner side of the functions. The CB side is really like the BearCat 880. It has, SWR meter for antenna tuning, calibration for setting up for the SWR meter check. It has CB and PA mode. It has weather and weather alert, so you can either go straight to weather or monitor for weather alerts in the background. Automatic noise limiter, noise blanker, talk back that gives you a little bit of audio coming back out the speaker when you talk to confirm. Quick channel 919, quick change between day and night. Function lets you get to the second function on those buttons. So for example, if I want to go to the weather mode, I could hit function weather. Oh, excuse me, that was weather alert. You see it turned on alert in the top of the display. I can turn it back off again. If I want to switch between day and night mode, function day-night. So that's how the function works. And there may be times when you pull in somewhere and you want to listen to the CB, but you really don't want the scanner audio to come through. So we put a quick one-button touch, S-mute, scanner mute. When it's in this mode, you won't hear any scanner. It basically disables the scanner function completely, so you don't get any surprise police calls coming through when you don't want it or don't expect it. And then tap it again, and that turns it back on. Okay, now I'm going to take the SD card out and show you how to update the database. PC, we're going to update the database. First thing we need to do is download the update utility. So I'm going to fire up my browser, and we'll go to uniden.com. Then let's go to the product page, which is CB radios and BearTracker 885. And if we scroll down here to product support, to update your BearTracker scanner database, download, unzip, and install Update Manager. So if I click on that, it's going to allow me to open that, and you just follow the normal install procedure for installing the software. There's nothing special. I've already done that here, so I'm going to skip to the good part. Run BT885 Update Manager. As you can see, it's quite complicated software. It has one button, but before I press that button, I want to plug the SD card that I removed from the BearTracker 885 into the SD card slot on my computer. Wait for that to register. I got the registration sound. There we go. And now I'm going to update. You see that the card is listed. If you don't wait long enough, the card may not be listed. You may need to click refresh. Or if you're using a completely blank card, for some reason you have a blank card, you don't have the card from the scanner, but from the CB, but you want to update it with the information, you would click on Display All Drives. Then the card would show up. It wouldn't have BT885 on it, but the card would show up then. You select the card that you're going to update. Press OK. It's downloading the database from our server, writing the update to the SD card. And it's finished. Now all you have to do is plug it back into the BearTracker 885 and away you go. And that concludes this brief look at the BearTracker 885 Hybrid CB scanner.